how important is it for your team to win the first quarter tonight? And how do you plan to do that?
You know, it was something we talked about going into the series. You know, during the regular season matchups, the team that had won the first quarter had gone on to win that game. Obviously, we've been able to win 2 games even though we did not win the first quarter. But I think tonight, coming off of that game in San Antonio, they're going to come out very, very aggressive. And they even stated that after the game, especially DeMar DeRozan. So I think it's important for us to win the first quarter, but not only to match the intensity and their aggressiveness, but to exceed it. We have to come out with a hit first mentality once again, and hopefully that allows us to win that first quarter.
Coach, I'm interested in your three-point defense. You've done an incredible job against a team that prides itself not only getting good quality threes, but you've held down the attempts, the makes, the percentage.
You know, they regular season, interesting stat, they're number 1 in three-point percentage. They were last in attempts, so obviously Pop is not a high-volume three-point coach, and they're not a high-volume three-point team. With that being said, we've done a really good job. They're only making 6 threes per game, which is the best in the playoffs so far. And it's important to start, Bill, but it's even more important when they go to their bench. The Patty Mills, Marco Bellinelli, Davis Bertans, those are the 3 guys that you really worry about, along with Bryn Forbes in that starting group. And it's a fine line. Right now, they're hurting us in the paint, 51 paint points per game. Game 3, 62, game 4, 60. But you almost don't want to overreact to that because you don't want to open up the three-point line. So we've got to be able to do both, be a multiple effort team, but give our guys credit. We have locked into the game plan, the personnel, and done a really good job of taking their shooters off the three-point line.
Coach, you were saying that Pop is the Bobby Fischer in this chess match. Do you expect any radical changes from him tonight, or just more subtle changes?
No, I don't think radical changes are in order. I think it's just, like he said after Game 4, it was about effort, it was about aggressiveness, it was about physicality, all the same things I talked about after Game 3. So yeah, we tweak lineups, we tweak coverages a little bit, but I think it's all the basics and the fundamentals that come into play. So I don't expect anything radical. I do expect a radical change in their mindset and how aggressive they come out.
There had been a lot of noise before the series about how Nikola's offense and how his defense would translate to the playoffs even after the season that he had. Has he just been exactly the guy you expected that he would be, in a playoff type atmosphere on both ends?
You know, he's never phased. You know, it's really interesting. You look at Nikola being a young player, first playoff experience, and he's, just about averaging a triple-double and doing a hell of a job on the defensive end of the floor. And then you look at Jamal Murray, another young player, first-time playoff debut. And I think for any young player, consistency is the greatest challenge. In our 2 wins, Jamal's numbers are off the charts, and our 2 losses, they're not. And that's the greatest challenge for any young player. What's remarkable about Nikola is that he has that consistency. You expect greatness from him every night. And I loved how aggressive he was in Game 4, by far his most aggressive game offensively. His rebounding, his playmaking, and then the defense that you talk about, Harrison, pick and roll and post. This is some of the best defense he's played the whole year.
All the series are going 3-1, 4-0, all these different stuff. You guys would have won 2-2. But for the big picture for this franchise, is this almost a perfect kind of indoctrination to the playoffs for this young team?
I think so. It's you never want anything easy, and it's never easy in the playoffs. But San Antonio, let's forget about numbers and seeds. They're going to give you a hell of a challenge no matter what seed they are. And I think we all know that sitting in this room. They've got arguably the greatest coach to ever coach in the NBA. They have veterans. They have 2 perennial All-Stars in DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge. And we are young. So when you have the 8th youngest playoff team in NBA history going against a veteran coach team, it's going to be a great challenge. And I love how we responded. Game 1, weren't ready, gave ourselves a chance at the end, pull out Game 2, Game 3, not who we want to be, and then we respond in a big way in Game 4. First road win in San Antonio in a long time. But there's still a lot of work to be done. Have we relaxed? Have we become satisfied? Or are we going to stay hungry? Because we all know this team is going to come out, San Antonio that is, they're going to come out extremely, extremely aggressive because they know this is a huge game. And I hope our players understand just how important it is as well.
Coach, is there something specific that you like about the way Gary defended Derek in those possessions that he had last game?
You know, the one thing you know with Gary, is the athleticism, the physicality. And I think to be a really good defensive player, you have to take pride in it. It's something that you study your matchup, you know tendencies, but you also just have a mindset of, I'm going to take pride and win my matchup. And I think Gary on Derek White, obviously much difference, huge difference from game 3 to 4. And then even Torrey guarding DeMar DeRozan, just that length, that physicality. And DeMar's having a hell of a series. We're not stopping DeMar DeRozan. You just want to make it hard for him. And I think both of those guys have done a good job with that. But, overall, Derek White's been phenomenal. He had a tough game in game 4, but I have no doubt that he'll respond and be ready to go tonight.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it.